bull and bear case scenario for this week, and I think this is what's going to happen. Obviously, I've been wrong plenty of times, but this is what I think is pretty likely to happen. Bear case scenario, and this is just one of two scenarios. We dip below this the 200-day EMA, with the price actually goes below this the ascending support level right here, this line right here. We go down and we have to kiss that 200-day simple moving average, right? That green line right there. And then we get a bounce. To what degree? What velocity is it going to be? A dead cat bounce? That's, it's hard to say. I think it's fairly certain that if we were to come down to that 200-day SMA, we're going to get a bounce. And I say this mostly because last time we did it very well. Also, it's a very good indicator, and it has a very good track record and proclivity for bounces after the price actually comes down to it, right? Just look at any stock. And this is a good example right here. It comes down, kisses it almost perfectly. Now, the bull case, right? The bull, what everyone wants to know, right? The bull case. So if this happens, this is what I'm seeing for this is the next few weeks, in my opinion, right? I've been wrong. I know I did this before, and I was way off. But this week, I think bull case, high growth does well. This is what we're doing, okay? Maybe bouncing here. All right, we're hitting the top descending level. We're bouncing in between here, and then we're breaking the upside. And then we're going to continue to follow this line progressively, probably making higher highs, higher lows. That's essentially what we're going to do until we break this line for whatever reason it is. Is it going to be high growth going down? Is it going to be a bad earnings, or is earnings going to be good and then send us more like something like this all the way up to $8 and $9 and $10? No, these are possibilities that we're going to be seeing. But regardless of whether we go like this or this, prior to earnings, right? This date right here, roughly, August, somewhere in here, most likely that's when we think the earnings is going to be at least. That is going to determine whether we're going to be valued all the way up at $8 or $5 or even lower than that, right? You guys know my opinion on earnings. I think it's something worth holding through if you understand the risks and understand why I think we're going to probably get a beat on revenue, at least of the $3.5 million consensus estimate, if they're going to keep that. That's what I'm thinking. Now, some catalysts and some stuff to look forward to in these next few weeks with BNGO, right? So number one, I would say accreditation for the LDTs for ALL and FSHC in certain European United markets. We still haven't got this. I don't know I don't know if they're going to release this. I don't know what's going on. I thought they would have released it by now if they would have, because quarter two is already, quarter three's been going on for 18 days now. Still haven't released anything. I'm assuming they're already done, and I'm assuming those are helping for sales. But either way, if we would get a PR mentioning that would be great. Also, CPT, the proprietary laboratory analyses codes right here, these are going to become effective in October. Those are going to help. And a lot of people believe these. I'm not an expert on this. A lot of people believe they're going to be a big help in insurance and reimbursement. Okay, insurance companies covering the Sapphire usage and the government actually reimbursing stuff as well. So that is going to be, and I'm not an expert on that, but the effective date for these codes for BNGO is going to be October 1st, right? October 1st, that's going to be your effective date for this. Okay, this one right here, the rare disease identification of cognitive variations, CNVs, insertions by the optical genome mapping, right? So there you go. Also, this bad boy, right, this is just pretty random. I just wanted to highlight this because right now we didn't really get any news over the weekend. So some financial calculations, right? You can pause it and read this stuff. What I want to say is this right here, okay? Present value of future 4 years from now, $25 share price equals $17.90, yada, yada, yada. So the present value risk adjusted is $15.22 per share. Right? Could be much higher if nanonozzle pans out scientifically and commercially. How about, if nanonozzle comes out at all commercially, I mean, you know what that's going to do, right? $15, more like $30, $50, okay? I mean, maybe even more than that. Hell, the nanonozzle is going to be, if it were to be as revolutionary as the, CEO, as he says, may be a key step in solving nanopore sequencing, one of a main limitation of nanopore sequencing. If it really is able to do that, then it's absolutely blown out of the park. But even if it's not, even if nanonozzle isn't coming, this person's calculations here, 1522. Do I like the calculations? He's projecting about $2 billion per revenue in 2024, 2025. So, on my DCF that I trust a lot, that's not really what we're getting to. But hey, if the sales go quickly like they should, because the Sapphire is better than everything else in the world, that absolutely will happen. And that will absolutely happen. But the thing is right here on this one, okay, for 2024, we have what? For total revenue, we have about $150 million. But we are profitable in 2024. But, this is nothing like 4 billion. We're not even getting 4 billion in revenue in 2030 on this calculation. On this other one, we're getting, this is very nice. We would have to replace a lot of the current cytogenetic tools, but still, it's something to keep in mind. It's something to understand that, which being the Sapphire is better than everything else in the world. And this is why we actually are buying the company right now. We're not buying it because it's got a high price earnings ratio. We're buying it because the product has gotten not that many sales right now, but is already proved to be better than everything else in the world at a huge market that no one understands, which is what presents such an auspicious opportunity to buy, because no one understands what the hell's going on. No one reacts to the news. Nothing matters, right? The PR doesn't matter. The company doesn't matter. It's just whatever people are thinking. It's just spontaneous whims, right? Whatever people are thinking on a whim. Okay, Q2 earnings. This is coming up less than 30 days now. You got to keep this in your mind. You got to have a plan for earnings, and I recommend you watch the videos I've done already on the Q2 earnings. We'll do more of them. If you're going to hold through earnings with me, you know what I'm doing, okay? I don't have to tell you what I'm doing at this point. This is the key to understanding the risk and the possibility. You need to read this post, and I have videos on it, and I'll probably link it in the pinned comment, and we can go over on a stream or anytime. But I really don't want you guys to blindly follow me on my synthesis that I think Q2 earnings is going to just kick ass for sure. I think it will. I think it will, to be honest with you, but not for sure, okay? I think it will. I don't know it will. That's the key you have to understand. There are risks here that I go way off, right? I could be way off. I'm extremely bullish and biased, right? So please understand, if there's a ton of rental agreements in here and not that many sales, we're pretty much screwed. We're pretty much royally screwed if we don't get like at least 5 to 10, hopefully more than that, sales, not rental agreements. Here, hypothetically, consumables, Lineagen, they could come in and help us a lot, but realistically, we need some sales. And there's no confirmation on a lot of these. There's only 5 confirmed sales, essentially like 100% confirmed, that we see here, essentially. Takeaways from the CU conference. This was this week. This was earlier this week on Tuesday, I believe, and this was a great presentation by the CEO. He said we're not going to get any offerings, okay? If we go over here to the miscellaneous sections, this is the full due diligence. Link in the description if you want to see the 100-page due diligence on BNGO. But basically, these are the takeaways from earnings, right? All of these things right here. He said it's not only as good as the standard of care, it's better. And he was talking about the Sapphire, the main product, right? He also said we're not going to get any offerings, essentially. He said we're not going to dilute anymore. We're not going to do any offerings. Don't expect any more offerings. They're not going to be back in the market raising financing. They do not expect to be back doing that. So that's amazing to hear. Obviously, stock price goes down, but that's something that everyone needs to understand. That did happen, and that did make the fundamental value way higher. Okay, simple as it gets. Now, if we go right here, this is a study that was posted July 14th. There's nothing crazy in here, but what I want to say is that the Sapphire is still being used, and this is why I think consumer revenue is going to kick ass this quarter. It's going to be more than 700K. It's maybe more like 1 million, in my opinion. I think it's a very high chance of that happening for the specific reason of so many studies like this. There's just a plethora of these every single day. The proclivity for studies and Sapphire adoptions, articles, publications, rental agreements even, okay? Strategic partnerships, right? Everything. Even installation posts about it with you. Actually, also, plus posts on the freaking, just posts with the Sapphire in the back. Here you go, man. I mean, this is the stuff that we got June 2nd, the Sapphire in the picture with Pat Bio's hi-fi, man. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. There's so many things and so many occurrences with the Sapphire being used in Q2, and this is why I think consumer revenue is going to be good. And this is just yet another study that was just published. Now, did this happen during Q2? Maybe. Did the samples and did they pay BioNano during Q2? That's the key. Are they going to count it as revenue under Q2 or now? Right, because we're now in Q3 in July. That's yet to be determined. But nonetheless, in Q2 and now for Q3, if this was somehow done in 2 weeks, right? This whole study prepared in 2 weeks, probably not. It probably was Q2. But nonetheless, it's good to see. It's damn good to see. You better bet your ass it's good to see. Now, this article right here, this was last week, and I didn't really read much too into this, but I still, okay, this is just the usual spiel. It's from Larry Raymer. He's a good. I like the guy. He's great. He's been bullish on the stock for a long time. He's got a good point here though, and this sums it up better than I can, right? Okay, so unlike those names which have been slumping mightily, right? So GameStop, AMC, Oxygen Fuel Cell, BNGO stocks should be bought on weakness. That's because, as I mentioned earlier, we have a very potent product, and from a long-term perspective, BNGO is very undervalued. Sapphire's value keeps increasing. And not only that, the company has shown us proof of concept. They've shown us business expansion through hirings, which we're about to go over a little bit. More studies, more Sapphire consumable usage that we can see at least. More Sapphire sales in this quarter prior to the earnings than any other quarter in the history of BNGO. I literally, I mean, there's no other way to say it. In the history of BNGO, the entire almost 20 years that they've been around, technically only IPO for a couple, but they've been around for a while. It's looking good. The business looks like it's doing well. And from a business perspective, you'd think, if you would have told me all the things that have happened these last few weeks, I would say, wow, we must be at like $10 a share. No, we're half of that. And that goes, this is why high growth has a huge effect, right? You have to understand that BioNano is not just going to move how it should. At the end of the day, a stock's current value is just what everyone thinks it is, right? If everyone thinks the stock's great, valued high, they're going to buy it. If they think it's valued low, it's going to go. Okay, it's almost it gets. But you like to see this article nonetheless. And this was this week, and that's Larry Raymer, the legend himself. He's long on the stock, right? He had a long position being Joe. He's still buying it. He still thinks it's undervalued. So you like to see it. Articles, analysts. We like to take them with a big-ass grain of salt, even bigger than the grain of salt that you have to take listening me to, right? But still, it's good. It's nonetheless, we'll fucking take it, right? We'll take it. Now, if we look at the total headcount growth, you're looking at up 36% in the last 6 months. And also, I'll notice, now I could be wrong on this, but if my memory is correct, last week, we only had 166 employees on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is going to be a little bit laggy and tracking all the employees. Some of them are not going to be counted, maybe, okay? But we just got one new employee on LinkedIn in the last few days. I know it's like, wow, Brandon, only one. This is what it's come to. There's no news. You're talking about one more employee on LinkedIn. The count on LinkedIn, really? Well, I don't really mean to emphasize that one new hire. I just mean to say that this headcount growth and the proof of business expansion is not negligible, and it's something that you love to see as a shareholder of the company. You want to see the company hiring more people as long as they're smartly hiring, right? Assuming they're not just hiring any lazy Joe on the street, but I don't trust it's foolish to trust people you've never met to a certain degree. But from what we've seen, we have no reason to doubt the management. CEO, Al-Kachabi, our CMO, CCO, CBO, the new guys, the CCO, all these guys are very credentialed, that's for sure, and they have worked in a while in the space. They're experienced, and we can trust them to the degree that we can. And you love to see what they're doing. It looks right now that they've put together a great team, and it looks like they're putting together a great team for the sole purpose of effectuating the global adoption of Sapphire, in their own words. Also, nanonozzle production, nanonozzle production, baby, product launches. Responsibility on one of the freaking listings of a job that I cannot find, but the proof is on the channel if you want to go do that. New nanonozzle evidence, you can watch that video. Okay, also, the must-know BNGO information. Feel free to click off now. This is a quick plug, but if you would like to learn more about BNGO, I know it's the usual YouTube spiel. I know it sucks, but I'm telling you, this is the video you want to do. And please watch the nanonozzle section of this video. Oh my gosh, use the timestamps, use the YouTube chapters. If you don't believe in BNGO, if you think I'm an idiot for putting 100% of my portfolio in it and not diversifying, if you are considering doing the same thing as I am and think I'm actually onto something, go watch this and understand and learn more. Because I promise you, you will see. I think even if you're a bear, you'll start to understand where I'm coming from when I say the nanonozzle has a high chance of coming out commercially at some time in the future, whether that's 1 year, 2 days, or 5 years, right? I mean, I think it's likely to happen, and not even that case. Without the nanonozzle, Sapphire is still going to get and still literally have and effectuate our long-term DCF, discounted cash flow models, from Radnose and all the other great people that have done this. They're going to effectuate the revenue projections that we are projecting now, which $1 billion in profit in 2030 alone, okay, $2 billion in total. What's your total revenue? $2.5 billion almost. So, right now we're making a couple million a quarter. We're talking about billions of dollars in profit a decade from now, less than a decade from now. So you can see this is not, and there are analysts projecting similar numbers than we are, and I would say this is pretty conservative. But and this video goes over them. So that's what I will leave you with, and actually I'll leave you with a portfolio showcase. With that being said, thank y'all so much. This is not financial advice. We got to get the code in. I will see y'all in. That's the wrong account. Let me get the other one. Anyways, thank y'all so much. This is not financial advice. I will see y'all in the next one.